Hi, do you not know what items to give when you're playing Risk of Rain?
Even though your items are completely randomized.
Do you not know which ones to give to your friends?
Even though they don't deserve them because you're the best and you deserve all the good items.
Well, I'm here to tell you which items are best and worst for a certain character. Legendary items, that is.
No, this is my opinion, it's not to be taken too seriously, as well as this is from my POV of monsoon runs, going for obliteration or genuinely long runs. And to keep this fresh, we're not going to be repeating the worst items for multiple characters because that would just be a little bit boring, except for on Multi, because Multi is a little bit of a weird character. Other than that, let's get right into it. Commando can always benefit from legendary items, but I said the Symbiotic Scorpion and Shattering Justice are some of his best, just because being able to do more damage with each individual shot is going to be really good for a character that doesn't do a lot of damage for each individual shot. And for worse, I said the Frost Relic, not because it's particularly bad, but just because it's the one I get the least use out of on Commando. For Huntress, I said the Big Healing Shield and the Weird Disc.
Oh my god!
Just because temporary shield is always very useful on Huntress, and the weird disc is just more damage, and it's honestly nice to see another disc flying around other than just your secondary. So I literally just said Head Stomper Sitting Duck need to get close to do damage with its ability. For Bandit, I said the Laser Sight and the Funny Dagger because more damage for crits, he has guaranteed crits, and the Funny Dagger because it's just more damage. For the worst, I said the spare drone parts just because, honestly, everything else for him gets a mountain of use because Bandit is just generally very good. Now, Multi is very, very weird, right? Because their whole game plan is changed depending on their primary weapons. So I'm going to go through every primary weapon, and I'm going to assume that the nail guns and the saws are using the secondary special, and I'm going to assume that the rebar and the rockets are using the normal special, just so we get a little bit of a mixed bag here. This will be exempt from the one worst category rule, so I don't have to like blow my brain up trying to fit all these in. Like soon I'm going to have to start taking out the red scraps and the micro defense robots. So for double or nail gun multi on the secondary special, I said the Brilliant Behemoth and the Symbiotic Scorpion, just because Symbiotic Scorpion is just really good on characters that can put out a lot of bullets, and the Brilliant Behemoth is just fun on nail gun multi. It's just constant explosions and fireworks, and oh my god. I said the Hard Light Afterburner is the worst just because you're trying to stay inside of your special most of the time. You kinda don't need it. For rebar multi, I said the Pocket Rocket and the 57 Leaf Clover just because it's really fun to get up ATG proc on these because they do so much damage and it's just so nice. I said the worst is the Head Stomper. Again, it's another sitting duck case, and most of the time you're gonna end up just jumping down and dying, or jumping up in the air, sitting there for a while and getting shot by something. It's just not very fun. For rocket multi, I said the Alien Head and the Pocket Rocket again, just because the Alien Head can reduce the cooldowns of your rockets, which is going to be really nice, and the Pocket Rocket is just nice to see more rockets being shot off than you really get. And for the worst, I said the Brilliant Behemoth just because you already get explosions, you don't really need any more. So it's like the one time I'd say the Brilliant Behemoth is the worst. And last but not least, for Saw multi, I said the Frost Relic and the Doom Shroom. He's already going to be in their butt trying to saw him with his double saws and his 100 armor, so like he's just going to be in there trying to do more damage. So why not just have that extra damage? And for the worst, I said the Brainstalk just because he has like no cooldowns to reduce. Like he has his utility and his secondary, and that's about it. Engineer, for me, this is a little biased because I really like spare drone parts on mine, as well as Dio's best friend. Spare drone parts because I like to just like have a ton of buffed drones flying around me when I'm playing Engineer. I like to just sit back and let all the drones do all the work for me. And Dio's best friend will revive his little turrets so they could just be like, I'm back up, I don't want to die. And for his worst, I said the Bottle of Chaos, maybe, I don't know, he's really strong. For Artificer, I said her best is the Sacrificial Hooks and the Brainstalks. Getting your enemies all grouped together with the Sacrificial Hooks and just having no cooldowns whatsoever after you kill an elite is just really strong in a character that relies on cooldown reduction. I said her worst is the Interstellar Desk Plant because she's not supposed to be on the ground whatsoever anyway. So why would she need that healing when she could just have anything else? Yeah, this comes from the Flying Gang, not the Flamethrower Gang of Artificers, so you better get out of here, Flamethrower Gang. Screw you guys. Flying Gang for life. Check my video on it if you haven't already, but for Mercenary, I said the Alien Head and the Hard Light Afterburner. Again, cooldown reduction is just very strong on characters that really need their abilities to keep from, I don't know, not aliving. And in that same vein, getting 2 charges with the Hard Light Afterburner for your utility with Mercenary is very, very good, considering it's one of your lifelines to keep yourself from dying. I said his worst is the Rejuve. He doesn't have a big enough health pool to get a lot of use out of this compared to a lot of other characters like Rex, Acrid, Captain, all those other characters who have a bigger, chunkier health bar. Rex was a little difficult for me, not because it was hard to choose the items, but it's because there were 3 items that were in the running. Nakuna's Opinion, Rejuve, and Interstellar Desk Plant, or maybe even the Aegis. A lot of these items really help with your regeneration and your healing. So Rejuve was always going to be up there. I think Interstellar Desk Plant is just edges all these other ones out just a little bit, just because it keeps him in the fight while he's just running around stuck on the floor. And for his worst, I said the Hard Light Afterburner. Not because it's actually that bad, just because I nearly always kill myself whenever I use this by setting myself all the way up into the skybox. For the loader, I said the Electric Mushroom and the Frost Lily, kind of the same reason as Saw Multi. You're already going to be in their face, you're already getting enough health and shield, so why not just go all or nothing with these, right? And for the worst, I said Dios. You don't die as loader. I would say the Meat Hooks and the Nakuna's Opinion are some of the best. Meat Hook is very good with your Epidemic, getting them all close together, and you can just kind of spit into the void. And if you have enough balls, you can just jump into the mountain of enemies you've just created. Nakuna's was a weird pick for me because at one point I really hated the Nakuna's, but now that I've read into the wiki and how it works, I'm a little less hateful of it. But I think it edges out the Rejuve just a little bit because for me at least, when I choose to jump in on an enemy, I'm pretty sure it's going to die. So I just want it to die faster. So that's where the Rejuve gets beaten out a little bit because the Nakuna's Opinion can fire Flaming Skulls, doing more damage while I'm just trying to beat the shit out of this enemy. Choosing the worst with my main character honestly just shows me the glaring flaws with this whole video, that there's really not a worse legendary, they're all good. But in my opinion, it's probably the Laser Sight. Acrid, it doesn't rely on crits nearly as much as anyone else. Building crits on Acrid is not a must, so you really don't need it. And if you get it, it's a love to have, but Acrid gets a lot more use out of the other items that I still have to choose for the worst. For Captain, I said the Brilliant Behemoth and the Brainstalk, because haha, funny explosions, and haha, Diablo Strike. And I said the worst is Nakuna's, but I think the Nakuna's is just weaker compared to all the other regeneration ones for Captain. He gets a lot more use out of the Interstellar Desk Plant, the Rejuve, and the Aegis than the Nakuna's Opinion. For Railgunner, I said the Laser Pointer and the Pocket Rocket are the best. Again, more damage and even more rocket speed shot out from that infinite damage. Pretty epic. And for their worst, I said the Brainstalk. They don't have a lot of cooldowns to exploit with this, so it's really hard to get much use out of it, other than if you have the Cryo Gun for your special and the Stasis Bubbles for your utility. But like, if you're using the Stasis Bubble for your utility, just get better. Bit of a skill issue if you ask me, ya goddamn plebs. I'm just kidding. And lastly, the Void Fiend. I said the best is the Shattering Justice and the Symbiotic Scorpion. I think combining your weakness normally with the Shattering Justice and the Symbiotic Scorpion can be a really strong combo and just make your Kamehamehas feel like a later stage Goku Kamehameha, and just makes you feel like a goddamn god of destruction. The worst for me is Aegis. He plays with his health way too much to actually get much use out of it. I think that was it. I'm pretty sure that was all of them. What? What was that? There's another character to do. Who? Oh! The Heretic synergizes very well with the Nakuna's Opinion, considering their utility heals them. And then they pop back out and shoot off a few Flaming Skulls. Easy win. The Head Stomper is probably the only time I'm going to put out the best for a character, just because the Heretic can go all the way up into the sky and just come crashing down, and it has the health pool to tank whatever comes back their way. Now, what might be the worst for the Heretic? What dastardly item is so bad that even the Heretic can't get use out of it? The Red Scrap. You godforsaken bastard. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a little weird, little goofy, little funny, if you will. But I'm glad you watched it, and I hope you did that like, comment, and subscribe thing, or dislike and unsubscribe thing if you didn't like it. And other than that, I hope you have a great day.